This is Anthraxx of H2O, and you're drinking at Moe's.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. Welcome, Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Helps with that pain in the ass algorithm they got. We're at most places you can find audio podcasts too. Today, I'm excited to have with me another great talent out of H2O, Anthraxx. How you doing?
I'm doing. Hello. How are you? How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. I've had some pretty cool wrestling stuff coming. Well, have had it happen already. I have more stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So I can't complain too much. And, speaking of H2O, you guys, you and the other people that I've had on so far have been the reason why I am going to be re-upping my IWTV subscription. Like, I got rid of it, but I'm getting it back just because of you guys and the high quality stuff that I've been seeing. So
if I could suggest one thing, I do it because we just had a Tremont's Tournament of Death 4.
yeah,
It was a pretty pretty good show. Me and Alex Stretch were in a non-tournament match, but it definitely it's definitely one for the record books. I can tell you, I'm still feeling it right now.
Oh, I can only imagine. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. Excuse me. I love my Dr. Pepper, but it gives me the burps like crazy. The thing I like to start off with everybody, what got you started as a fan? And then what made you decide to finally make the leap into the business?
What made me start as a fan? I've been a fan of wrestling all my life. I think one of my first memories is watching like Hulk Hogan WrestleMania 9 with my father. Um, that was probably what got me into wrestling. I was just a fan of it all my life. But as I progressed into my older teenage years, I started to dive more into like what got me into it, like ECW, and then finding out about that, and then CZW, and just stuff like that. Really kept me in with wrestling because I guess I gave up for a little bit, but then I discovered like ECW and stuff like that. Like I was always a fan during the Monday Night Wars, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all that stuff. Then I kind of like drifted away a little bit, but ECW and then finding out about CZW brought me back into it.
Cool, yeah.
Getting into wrestling, I started training like in my 20s with CZW, but a whole lot of stuff happened, family stuff happened, stuff like that. But what made me like make the jump and what made me want to pursue this was I went to an event one night and saw a match with Matt Tremont. It was called Tangled Web, and it was him versus DJ Hyde. If nobody knows about that match, I would suggest looking it up because it's brutal.
It's a good
yeah. And then I saw that and I was like, man, this gives me like goosebumps and I want to be in there and do this. And he just made me believe, what made me want to start training. I've been trained in a couple places. Like I said, CW for like 6 or 7 months, and then real life happened, and I trained at this company called New Moon Rising, and real life stuff happened, and I finally, years down the road, said I'm going to do this now, or I'm never going to do it, and that's when I found H2O, and the rest is pretty much history.
Oh yeah, no, but and I can understand that life stuff happens. I know there was a time I almost stopped the podcast altogether because of a kind of an unfortunate thing. I'll go to off air, but yeah, I almost stopped because I'm like, there was that point where I'm like, eh. But then I'm like, you know what? The people that were, let's just, somebody passed away, and I was like, you know what? They wouldn't want me to be a quitter, so I was like, you know what? They would know how much I enjoyed doing this, so I just dove right back into it, and now I'm inching closer to my 200th interview episode, so I'm like really going hard there.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. Like, I just, I don't think anybody should ever give up on their dreams. If you really want something, it's going to happen eventually if it's meant to be.
Oh
But
yeah.
you never know. You never know unless you try.
Oh yeah. That's something that got brought up in a past episode. That one of their things they said for their best advice was that the answer's always no if you don't ask. So it kind of related in there a little bit. Now,
I feel like there's
go,
never any stupid questions, just stupid answers.
true, very true. Now we got into a little bit about H2O, and they've been having some big stuff as of late. I mean,
Mm.
just passing their 200th live event, that was huge.
Yep.
And now, like we mentioned, well, excuse me, the big weekend they, as of recording this, the big weekend they just got done with the Bound by Blood and then Matt Tremont's deathmatch tournament 4. And you were involved in there during a lot of that. I know the 200th event, and
Yep.
then you had your non-tournament match at the Matt Tremont's deathmatch tournament. So what's it like being involved in like H2O during like such a huge time for them? Because they're pulling off some huge stuff.
I think it's something that I've never really like thought would ever happen. Like, you get into the business and you never know what's going to happen. But like, it's just my wildest dreams. Like that, that match, the 200 event, it was the main event of the show. It was a spectacle. It was like a cuff to the cage match, and it was 5-on-5. And Matt himself was in the match, and somebody that I've had numerous matches with in the past, Low Life Louie, was in there.
Mm.
Two legends. It was fun. It was chaotic. And then the Tremont's deathmatch tournament, non-tournament match was me and Alex Stretch, and we kind of have a little thing going on right now. I kind of broke up the team, if you will, but uh, we've never been allowed, or never, not allowed, but never were given the opportunity to go balls to the wall. And that night, we went balls to the wall.
I'll definitely be, well, literally right as soon as I get done recording here, I'm going and renewing the subscription to IWTV, and that will be one of the first things I end up watching is that show, and the 200th event, because I've seen little bits here and there that kind of started getting the inkling back to get IWTV back. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be paying attention to both. And it got me curious with the non-tournament match you had mixed in there to the death match show, and then being involved in that cuffed in the cage spectacle that it was. Are you going to start getting like full on into some more death matches in the future? Because
Well,
both that the cuffed in the cage and your non-tournament match were pretty intense stuff.
I mean, when people, think of Anthraxx and look at Anthraxx, I mean, I've had my fair share of death matches so far in my career. They think of me as more of a death match, wrestler, like a death match wrestler that can, also wrestle, and that's just the way it should be.
Yeah.
Um, that's my forte. I love deathmatch wrestling. Deathmatch wrestling is what made me become a fan of professional wrestling again. And then whenever the opportunity presents itself, you know, I
Oh
give it
yeah.
110%. Like with Stretch, like we went balls to the wall. We did our thing. But that's the thing, is that's what we love doing. Like I love wrestling. I love wrestling in general, but I also love deathmatch wrestling because there's something about deathmatch wrestling that's just telling a story and not just hitting each other with things for the sake of hitting each other with things. There's no art
Yeah.
in that. You know what I mean? To go
Yeah.
out there and tell a story and to be able to do that and not implement the violence with the storytelling is something that I take pride in. And I was taught by the best. And
Oh
Matt
yeah.
Tremont, Matt Tremont is
Yeah.
one of the best to do it.
Oh, most definitely. And me, I'm kind of getting reintroduced to a lot of different, independent and deathmatch wrestling. And when you brought it up, I'm like, yeah, when I see the videos that I've seen, and then, the pictures for the advertisements for the shows, and I see Anthraxx, I'm like, he definitely looks like he fits in with the whole deathmatch thing there. And you bring up a good point that has actually been brought up with a lot of the great deathmatch talent that I've had on so far. I mean, some of it behind me here with some stuff from uh, John Wayne Murdoch, Alex Colon. I got some stuff sitting right beside me here. But the thing that got brought up was deathmatch wrestling being just like any other form of wrestling when it's done right. Just,
Correct.
surrounded by the deathmatch elements.
I agree. I mean,
So,
there's a takeaway from it. Like, do I think, in some aspect, light tubes are overused and stuff like that? Like, there's no creativity anymore. Sometimes, yeah. But like, if you go back and watch me and Stretch's match from this past Sunday, the thing you will notice is, tubes never really came into play until like going into the end of the match. Like we made them wait for it. Whereas
mm,
sometimes, you'll watch a death match and the first thing you see is a tube shot, and it's just like, eh, that's fine, and the fans like it. It's just I
yeah,
personally don't want to do things that way.
no, and like I can see the appeal both ways. I can see the ooh starting off with a bang, but then I also get a thrill out of you're like slowly ramping it up. Like
Right.
you don't start off with the big stuff, but then as it's going and you're building and that intensity is just growing, and then bam, you start going with the light tube bundle or something. I
Right. But I mean,
I I get thrill out of that.
in the aspect of that, like we did start off with a bang, but it was storytelling you know, uh, because I broke up the team. Stretch, and I
Yeah.
haven't, I've been avoiding Stretch at every take. He's wanted to get his hands on me for months and months and months, and he finally had the opportunity to get his hands on me. And we started off with a bang, and then we slowed it down, and then we picked it back up again, and we slowed it down, and then boom.
Bit of that roller coaster ride
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's building up me just getting more and more excited about finally getting to watch that, because I've seen the clips that have been posted here and there. So to actually get to sit down and watch the whole show, I'm getting pretty damn excited. Another thing with H2O that's starting to pick back up here is their Uncharted Territory series, which I believe, if I and correct me if I'm wrong here, you're getting featured in there too, with it
Yes.
getting started back up. So that again, another thing featured on IWTV, and it's like a weekly thing.
It is a weekly thing. I forget how long the Uncharted series is for. It's going to be for a few weeks. I know that. they're doing something this time with every Uncharted has Discovery Series, and this time it's the Deathmatch Discovery Series. And this Monday live on IWTV and from the H2O Wrestling Center, if you're, in the area, it's going to be me and Stretch in the Deathmatch Gauntlet Series round 2.
Ooh, definitely going to be excited for that one. Now, I know I have some categories here that I kind of like to round stuff off with. Some of these can get a little bit longer, and I know that you have some stuff to get to, so I want to be respectful of that. So we'll try to jump right into these.
Sure,
First
just
one's
shoot.
first one's a bit of a name game where I, name off some people and you give me some quick thoughts on them. Coincidentally, each of these people have been through H2O and have also been former guests of the show.
Okay.
First one of my more, hell, I just released his episode this last Friday. Leroy Robinson.
Up and comer. I love Leroy. There's a match with him and Neil Diamond Cutter. You can watch that on IWTV. I forget what show it's from. It's on there though. They stole the show that night. They really did. Leroy's first death match sort of outing, and he really stole the show. I think Leroy has slept on, but he's coming into his own. He's breaking out, and I couldn't be more happy for him.
Oh yeah, I was excited to have him on, and coincidentally enough, I've also had, I believe his episodes coming out this next week, but I've also had Neil Diamond Cutter on. So
I love him.
Oh yeah, he was a fun one. Next up, episode that was a little bit further back, but definitely a good one. Billy Starks.
I'm incredibly happy for Billy. She deserves nothing but the best, and to see her get signed with AEW and having go into Japan and stuff like that, she deserves everything. She's one of the best female talents around right now.
Oh, most definitely, and seeing the little bit of the program that she's had going on there with Athena, and oh man, the sky's not even the limit for her. I was incredibly excited.
She's so young that it's just what does the future hold for her? It's only up,
Oh yeah, she's already doing so many amazing things at such a young age that, man, as she gets older, it's only going to continue to get better and better, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Absolutely.
Next one, last one on the list here. Actually, it might have been one of my first ones from H2O. I'm trying to remember, brain fart here, but the one and only Jess Moss.
Jess, I love Jess. I still haven't had the chance to go one-on-one with her yet, but I expect it to be a very violent affair when and if we do. But the way she's broken out, I couldn't be more happier for her because we're friends, but I'm sure she's not a fan of the things I've been doing. But I do like Jess Moss, even though I kind of attacked her. I kind of attacked her at H2O 200, but no hard feelings.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she is still the current, the hybrid champion there in H2O. So
she is the current hybrid champion, yes.
Current hybrid champion, having that title around her shoulder, I'm excited for her. Hopefully, maybe here someday soon we'll get to see you and her for that title in there. Throw that title in the mix.
I can't guarantee she'll keep it if we face off, though. That's a story for a different time.
Yep, that's story for a different time for sure. All right. Now, I have some kind of random questions. Some wrestling related, some not. Some have nothing to do at all with what we've been talking about.
Sure.
So I give you the question. you give me the first answer that pops into your head.
Sure.
First one of the ones that I like to keep in here as much as possible. Craziest in-match moment for you?
Ooh. Well, yeah, I guess it would probably be something that happened at H2O 200. I had me and Louie exchanged corncob skewers to the head. That was
Ooh,
pretty crazy. There's actually a really close second one, but it's not something like that I'd be proud of. But it was also involving Louis and me and him. The first time I faced him about 3 years ago, I think now, I came off a scaffold, what we call the widow's walk that we had there at one point, and broke my tibia and my fibula.
ouch! Yeah,
And I
both
still
those.
and I still won the match though. Let's just be real. I still won that match. So, but
Okay,
yeah, probably the two of the craziest things that have ever happened.
yeah, hard to beat those. I've been lucky enough to have Low Life Louie on. It was a definitely a fun interview, and yeah, I've been able to witness a few crazy moments live in person before. One that I you might have heard me talk about before. My first ever legit death match, and not just hardcore slapped with a death match tag on there, with Jake Chris versus Joel Bateman at Sammy Callahan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver. They
That
had it.
is I love that promotion. It's a very good promotion, and I have seen that match. It's really good. I think Jake Chris is very underrated as well.
Oh, I've I've had him on. I've been able to talk to him in person, and yeah, I got nothing but good things to say about him. But the way that match ended, that was one of my craziest moments I've ever seen in person. With the lighting the glass on fire,
Mm-hmm.
that was just insane, and I was third row for that one.
It's always interesting when fans, when I first witnessed fire for the first time live and in person, it was certainly like an experience. It's like wow, like seeing it on TV and then seeing it live and in person is two completely different things. Like death matches in general, seeing them in live and in
Oh yeah.
person is completely different aspect.
Oh, most totally. And I've actually been to a no ring death match show, and luckily I was wearing closed toed shoes there because I remember one time, talking about light tubes. I remember a light tube getting used, and that connector cap end to it
Yeah,
flew off and hit me in the foot with a little shard of glass still in the thing. So it was like,
I've had I've had my fair share of no rings. I mean, it's like it's a different genre, and fans, they enter at their own risk. Even during a normal death match, that's why you see sometimes the referee sweeping some of the shards of glass and those little end pieces out of the ring. So if we take that bump, we're still landing on glass, but we're not getting impaled by something.
yeah, he is. I I remember this actually got switched with a no rope barbed wire match that I was front row to witness. Cat acting crazy behind me, but it was supposed to be somebody else, but they had a no ring deathmatch show the night before and ended up getting impaled. So
Yeah,
they weren't able to be in that match. So you, you
things
bringing that up
happen.
reminded me of that.
Glasses in general, like even if you're as careful as you can be, like it's glass. It's unpredictable.
Oh, totally. Now, next up, kind of relating to the question here, what is a weapon you would avoid being used on you in a match if you had the choice?
Mm. I think I'm down for anything at least once.
Yeah.
But if I guess if I had the choice, there's some really stupid ones that I've seen that I would probably be like, no, thank you. Such as I've seen a shark tooth bat.
Oh,
Yeah, razor wire.
oh God, yeah. No, that one gets brought up quite often.
Yeah. Um, let's see, razor wire. Yeah, and shark tooth bat's a big no. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think if we're talking about like things that you see all the time, if I had the choice, I guess maybe I wouldn't want to take a syringe. But again, like I said, I've taken anything. I'll take anything once. Like I
Yeah.
took a Kenzen to the head, and I thought I would never take a Kenzen to the head, and that was probably the worst thing I've ever felt in my entire life.
Yeah, I've seen videos of those things getting pulled out, and it
Yeah.
looks absolutely brutal. Now, this next one that I've been starting to ask here periodically. If you, like, let's say, won a big lottery jackpot and had what I like to call fuck it money, like you're just like, you know what? I've always wanted this. Fuck it, I'm gonna go get it. What would it be?
Wow. You know what? Probably my very own personal wrestling ring. I don't know where I'd put it,
Oh,
but that would be something. Or um, buying an array of arcade cabinets of some sort.
ooh, yeah. I can see the appeal to both.
Yeah, because like
Definitely.
you can buy your own arcade cabinets. Like there's that company called Arcade One Up now, and they sell them,
Yeah.
but they're not cheap. Let's be real, they're not cheap
Oh,
at all.
oh yeah. Yeah, they're not cheap. I've seen a few of them that I personally would love to have. I mean,
Yeah,
me being the big Ninja Turtle fan I am, I got some of my collection displayed back behind me here. I've seen the Ninja Turtle one, the arcade game. I'm like, oh man, if I could get my hands on that, I would love it.
I saw that one's a good one of the ones I would want. Probably there's a new one out. There's a Time Crisis one that also comes with Point Blank on it. That's a good one.
Ooh,
And a Marvel versus Capcom 2 one that would be probably the top three ones that I would get.
that and I believe they got us that Simpsons arcade game one. I
They do.
believe they do. I would love to have that because that back when some of the local pizza places here would have the arcade rooms, and I would always love it when I saw that game in there.
Well, it was also on Xbox Live for a little while, and then for some reason I got taken down. I guess copyright or something, but it
Hmm.
was that actually you could actually get it on Xbox Live, and they took it down, which is
That
sad. But yeah,
stinks.
it was there.
Man, I missed out on that one because I got Xbox Live. I got the uh, Game Pass. I would have loved to have seen that on there. Maybe someday soon it'll get back on there. Who knows? All right, now this next one that I would feel weird if I did not have this question in here with a name of a show like Drinking at Moe's. Favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or one of each, because I know there's plenty of people out there that for one reason or another don't drink.
Um, Favorite alcoholic drink, believe it or not, is Angry Orchard. I
Oh,
do
that's some good
love that. Yeah.
stuff.
And favorite non-alcoholic drink is Wawa. They have this iced tea lemonade. It's
Ooh,
the half and half, and
oh yeah.
that's a good one when I feel like having that much sugar in my body.
Yeah, no, that is some good stuff. I've had that from other places, and it's pretty damn
Yeah.
tasty. I know me, I'm a big beer guy. I definitely have my favorites. One that I wish they sold near me here in Omaha, Stone Cold's Broken Skull American Lager. Delicious.
The lager one is good. The ale one I had and I didn't like it at all. The lager one was good.
Yeah, the IPA, yeah,
The IPA one, yeah, yeah, that one was
it yeah, depending on your taste, I can see that one not being everybody's favorite, but man, that American lager was delicious.
yeah, yeah, it was. I just don't think I'm an IPA fan. I've had a couple, even like besides the Stone Cold one. I just don't think I'm an IPA fan. I think the lager is good and stuff along that. I just don't think I'm an IPA fan.
Yeah, everybody has their own taste. I know me, it really with IPAs, it kind of depends on the one. I've had some that I like. I've had
Mhm.
some others and I'm like, okay, I've had that once, I'm good.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
All right, now I like to kind of round it off here with this one. Best advice for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Well, uh, always train. Even if you can't, you know, get um, to school, or even if you think you're done training, it's never done training. Um, a gym, like if you can't get to training, definitely a gym. Um, learn everything you can from whoever you can. Always take people up on seminars. Like if you see a seminar from such and such, try and go to it. You know you're never done learning. Even like somebody is, you know, a legend like the Undertaker has said he's never done learning.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no, definitely a true thing. It's kind of one of those. It's like an ever evolving process. You
right.
can always learn something new, and I actually just had this talk with somebody recently that it kind of reminds me back to some of those, you know, teacher versus student matches that you would see the
Yeah.
promos for, where they would be
Hmm.
like, I've taught you everything you know, but you don't know everything I know. One of those.
Right.
So it's like always
Like
something new to learn.
you can learn something different from anybody and everybody. Like everybody has a different style. Not everybody is the same. I will say that this business, you don't. There's some people just do it for a hobby, but if you want to take it seriously, it's not. It's not easy. It's not an easy business, especially if you have a family. It's not easy. And I've had countless people come up to me and say, "Yeah, I want to train and be a deathmatch wrestler and this and that and this and that." And I give them the same advice all the time. You have to learn to crawl before you can walk, and you have to learn to walk before you can run. Because if you think that deathmatch wrestling is just something easy because you see it and it's just like, oh, it's just swinging weapons. No, um, you're training to be a professional wrestler, and then you're training to be a deathmatch wrestler. There's a lot that comes with it, and some people are good deathmatch wrestlers, and some aren't, and you can tell why some aren't, just because of some of those things. Like you always have to train, even if you just want to be a deathmatch wrestler. Please learn the basics and learn how to work and learn how to be a wrestler before you
Yep.
even start, wanting to bleed all over the place, because it's just I can cut myself right now and bleed all over the place. There's no art in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
No,
that
it goes kind of back to what we had talked about a little bit ago. Deathmatch wrestling is just like any other form. You just got the deathmatch elements surrounding it. So to get started, you want to, I imagine, learn the basics of
right.
just regular wrestling, and then grow
It's
from there.
it's
Get
like
into
any other genre in wrestling. It's some people like high flying wrestling, some people like technical wrestling, some people don't like high flying wrestling, some people don't like technical wrestling. It is what it is. It's just
yeah.
everybody has different flavors of ice cream.
Yeah, I literally just heard somebody talking about that on a podcast today. So bringing that up, that it is true. Every genre is like a different flavor of ice cream. Some like one flavor over the other. Some, like me, like just about everything.
Yep.
So
It
it's
is what it is. I think it's more versatile people to open their mind to stuff if they've never given it a chance. But if it's not your favorite flavor of ice cream, you're not gonna eat it. That's just
it,
simple as it is.
oh, most definitely. All right. So that is about all I have. But before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on Anthraxx, they can go ahead and get them there.
My social media is Facebook. Just look up Anthraxx. You'll find me. Instagram is Anthraxx, two X's.
To
Anthraxx H2O, and Twitter is also Anthraxx H2O.
I believe you follow me on at least X or Twitter or whatever the hell you want to
Yeah,
call
whatever that was.
it. Yeah, I struggle with that one to this day. Well, anyways, that is like I said, all I have. We'll make sure to have the social media spots in the description. But thank you again for taking the time to talk to me, and I best of luck out there with everything H2O's got going and everything else you got going on in the pro wrestling world.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.